So hello and welcome to R&R. I'm Phil,
And I'm Jill.
and together we are Phil and
Jill.
so yes, so welcome to R&R. We haven't decided what R&R stands for yet. We have several options in our heads, but we thought we'd leave it up for you to decide. Someone quite rudely suggested that rubbish could be one of the R's last night, didn't they? But I'm sure you will come up with something much more appropriate and respectful. So yeah, this is our new venture for a Saturday. It's kind of a mixture of soul music, the film club, and all sorts of other things. We're just looking at a book, a film, and a piece of music each week, just to kind of recommend it to you, if it takes your fancy to chill out and enjoy it. And we'll try and pull out one or two themes from it as well to have a bit of a think about it. So this week, Jill is going to share with us a song that she's been listening to and enjoying. She's also going to recommend a film for us, and I'm going to recommend a book. So Jill, shall we start with your song?
Oh, my song. Okay. Well, it's a funny song, and well, it's not funny at all. Sorry, but so I was on YouTube and I was looking for a song about a grey mare, and what came up was sorry, Fleetwood Mac, and you can listen to that song. But anyway, it wasn't what I wanted for my purposes, so I just googled, grey mare. That was the only one. Then horse, and anyway, eventually up came this one called "Riding Free" by Maisie Stella, and it's actually the theme tune to a Netflix series for well, mostly young girls, like children. But it's just a lovely, encouraging, upbeat song, and it's got the rhythm, so it's like as if you're riding. But anyway, listen to these words. I'm setting out into the great unknown. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm ready to live out every single dream. I'm stronger than I seem. Yeah, I'm fearless. And nothing's going to hold me back. I'm going to ride. I'm riding free. So come on, let's go along. Come and let's journey with me. And then another verse is, I'm breathing in up all this open space, trying to find my place in this big old world. I'm going to ride. I'm riding free. As long as I am here with you, I feel the spirit within me. And for me, it's like this commitment to living life in all its fullness. I'm ready now. I've been through some stuff, but I'm ready to ride, and I just want to ride on out into the future, into whatever God has got for me, really. And I just love the words. I can use it for worship, but it's also it's just a very uplifting tune. I can't imagine anyone listening to it and just not liking it, really.
I'm so glad you've picked out that song, because as you said, it's a Netflix song, and my girls really got into it, and it definitely was the soundtrack to a large chunk of lockdown points. They really loved that thing, and as a father, hearing you pulling out the kind of motivational excitingness of the song is really encouraging, because I'm sure that is embedded in my young girls' consciousness.
You see, it's so brilliant. I mean, when I listened to it, I had no idea it was attached to the Netflix series. But then when you YouTube it, up stuff comes, and yes, I sort of then gathered it was for. Mind you, I think it's a standalone song, but for young girls. Well, and here I am, not so young, but just loving it, So I think Maisie Stella is a powerful and gifted musician, and the words, as I say, they're just brilliant. Yeah.
I know, because there's the cartoon. It starts with this girl moving to a new place and not having any friends, and then making friends, and then she meets this wild horse that will only let her ride it. It's quite a sweet story, but actually the song that goes alongside that, about riding free and putting away all the baggage and stuff, as someone that's dragged their children around the country to different places, it's a really good song for teaching children to embrace adventure, to accept that bad things have happened but move on from them. It's an uplifting song, yeah.
Yeah, good. So Phil, that's my song that I recommend everyone can listen to. So it's Riding Free, Maisie Stella. Now, have you got a book for us?
Book, yes. I'm recommending a book called, I can never remember where the camera is, called Sophie's World by Justine Gardner. Feels odd to recommend this because it was actually originally written as a philosophy textbook, so it feels a bit weird to recommend a textbook, but it's been done in a very imaginative and fun way. So the plot is, there's this girl called Sophie, and she gets home from school one day to find a mysterious note in her mailbox that just says, "Who are you?" And then this correspondence takes place between her and this philosophy professor that takes her through the whole history of Western philosophy. And then it gets seriously surreal at the end, where we learn who she is and her place in the world, which is quite mind-bending and quite random. So if you're interested in philosophy, it's a really gentle and easy way to get an overview of the whole of Western philosophy. And I think what reading this opened my eyes to is how much of an impact Christian thought has had on philosophy, and how intertwined theology and philosophy are, or at least traditionally were to begin with. And I know that sounds terribly not like the kind of thing you want to be thinking about on a lazy Saturday morning, but I found it a really gentle way to think about that. I think definitely these in lockdown, I think some of us had all these dreams about expanding our minds and learning lots of things and becoming intellectuals, which didn't happen. Certainly didn't happen for me anyway. Can't speak for everyone. But this is a really gentle way of getting an overview of philosophy really quickly, really easily, and in an engaging way.
It sounds really clever. I think it was one of my daughter's book list on whatever course they were doing at school, because I certainly know they had it on the bookshelf, and I dipped into it, I think, and I do remember that bit, the question and the mailbox and things. Did I read the whole book? I honestly, I can't remember, but I think to have in one volume, an overview of sort of how philosophical thinking has developed over the centuries is a fantastic resource, isn't it, really? And quite interesting, like you say. And yeah.
So I should say it's not for everyone. I first read this in sixth form, and I started buying copies for everyone and giving it to them because I thought it was so good. And reception was mixed of my gifts. So
it's quite a big book, isn't it? It's a chunky book, but if you want a project, that's quite a good thing to have.
Yeah, so it's 427 pages, which is quite long. But then you've got 3,000 years of thought into 427 pages. So and a story.
Yeah, good value, hey?
Yeah, you can get very cheap secondhand now. So Gill, do you want to give us a film to think about?
So, so my film, pardon me, is La La Land, and I was surprised when I came to watch it, which is on BBC iPlayer at the moment, that it was first published. Is it published? Is that the word you use? Released. It was first released in 2016, because I remember there was loads of hoo-ha about it when people were just saying what a fantastic film it was, and then other people were saying no, it's rubbishy, and there was lots of talk about it. And I went to the cinema with my eldest daughter in 2016 to watch it, and I was full of hope that it was going to be wonderful, and it sort of underwhelmed me, really. It was very colourful, and I felt it was very aspirational, but I also felt it just didn't do it for me. Anyway, it's on iPlayer, so I watched it the other day, and I just really enjoyed it this time because I felt like I was more on top of what it was about. And because I knew the storyline and I knew where it was going, I could sort of sit back and enjoy it a little bit more. So, Phil, have you watched it at all?
I haven't. No, I feel like I might be in the place you were at. I've seen it. I've heard rave reviews of it, and I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, that's the sort of thing I should watch, but I don't know if I want to watch. If you know what I mean.
I'll just read a little synopsis so that folks can be a little bit more clued up to what it's about. Aspiring actress serves lattes to movie stars in between auditions, and jazz musician Sebastian scrapes by playing cocktail party gigs in dingy bars. But as success mounts, they are faced with decisions that fray the fragile fabric of their love affair, and the dreams they work so hard to maintain in each other threaten to rip them apart. La La Land premiered at the Venice Film Festival on August the 31st, 2016, and was released in the United States on December the 9th. It grossed $446 million worldwide against a production budget of $30 million. The thing about it is, I'm sort of onto it. The director and writer is Damien Chazelle, and so watching it the second time, it's very colourful. It's a wonderful musical, and we haven't had like a musical for years. But it said somewhere, where was that? I didn't cut and paste it, so I read it. But he showed on Friday afternoons to all those who were involved in the film, old films, like I haven't got the list of them now, but old musicals. So just to get them into the swing of it, sort of thing. And it's a dream project. It's like the two characters, Mia and Sebastian, they're not developed whatsoever. They're just, if you like, facades, and that you have their love story, but you don't get into who they are as human beings whatsoever. You just get their stories. Like, he's a jazz pianist and wants to have his own jazz club, and she's an aspiring actress working in, you know, a cafe bar, and they motivate each other. They dance together and all this. But I remember when I watched it, there were certain scenes and I thought, well, couldn't they have done that a bit better? You know, like, the technology is here. So there's one when they go to an astronomy thingy, observatory. And they end up floating in the air. And I'm thinking it's a bit Mary Poppins-ish. And I'm thinking, oh, they could have done that better. But then you suddenly click, it's sort of a bit taking the rise out of Hollywood. And I'd looked for reviews to say this, and none of the reviews say that. But I think he's both glorifying in it, but he's also taking the mickey out of it. So when Mia and Sebastian first meet, and they're up on a hill looking over at the lights of the beautiful city and things, and before they do their first dance, she takes her nice little high shoes off and she puts her flats on. Well, you know, Fred and Ginger, she would never have worn flats, but you know, Mia does. And also there are observations about how hard it is. So when she's been interviewed, when she's having to do her what is it? When she's pretending to be an actor, like, when, you know, what's it called when you she's interviewed for an acting role? What is that
Audition.
called? Audition. When she's been audited, when she's doing her audition, other things happen, and the people are so rude, and they just go, yeah, next, thank you, yes, we've got enough. Well, she's just done 1 minute, you know, having rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and that's it, and then you're just rejected, rejected, rejected. Anyway, so it's a love story. There's, you know, very colour. It's just nice to watch, but don't expect any great cohesion. It didn't, to me, it didn't, it wasn't cohesive. It was a series of happenings. But at the end, it shows them 5 years on from the last time you saw them, and Mia has married another man. Oh, sorry, this is a big spoiler, but and they have a little baby, and they happen to go off the road and drop into this jazz club, and hey presto, Sebastian, it's his jazz club and he's playing the piano. And then there's this whole sort of rally where you see what their lives could have been if they'd stayed together. And, you know, it's just little snapshots, and it's sort of like, that does get you emotion, because obviously they haven't stayed together. But then as she leaves with her husband, she leaves, and they pause, and he's at the piano having played their tune. There's this haunting tune throughout it, which it does capture your imagine, you know, it's just the notes of it, just it gets you. And he's playing that, and she looks back, and they just look at each other, and then she gives sort of a half smile and turns back, and it's like, it's okay that their lives didn't, you know, come together. And again, that's a spoof of Hollywood, because in Hollywood, you know, the big story is the romance, the man and the woman always come together. But real life is, you have relationships, you move on, you know, you meet and make your life with somebody else. And so it sort of pulled at the heartstrings. But I think it's worth watching with a sort of objective eye, because it's telling you more than what you can see. Is that sort of...
So is the danger with it that you see it as a very light kind of tonic pick-me-up, but actually it's much deeper than that?
Well, deeper in the sense that, yeah, it is making observations, if you choose to pick them up, about life and about Hollywood and about the acting and profession in particular. That's the way I read it. But it yeah, it is nice just to watch them dancing together and sing together. You know, that it's quite captivating. But the thing that I didn't like is, yeah, to me, because the characters are totally undeveloped, it sort of, I don't know, it jarred on me, the different scenes. You sort of, well, where are we now? You know, what's happening now? And there were some bits when it went to and fro a little bit. But no, it's a good watch. And it won't be everyone's film, but I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave it there. But if you've seen La La Land or read Sophie's World or heard Spirit Riding Free, do comment and let us know what you think of them. If you haven't, then we'd be fascinated to know, like La La Land, is there any films you could recommend that actually it took you the second viewing to appreciate? So if you comment on any of the films, the film, book, song that we mentioned, or if you've got a film you'd like to recommend that it took you 2 viewings to appreciate, do pop it in the comments. We'll be back next week with another R&R. So take care, God bless, and we'll see you soon.
God bless.